Good morning and welcome to day 2 of Bitkom's Privacy Conference 2024. Since last year, the regulatory landscape has continued to evolve, with significant developments such as the Data Act, the GDPR enforcement regulation, and the AI Act shaping how we approach data protection. Today, we will explore the international perspectives, address the challenges of compliance, and discuss new business models in data economy. Together, we will explore these topics with leading experts examining the future of data protection. My name is Isabel Stroth, and I am a policy officer for data privacy at Bitkom, and it is my pleasure to guide you through today's day of the conference. The day 2 of this year's privacy conference is focusing on international perspectives in data protection as it did last year. We will begin with keynotes from prominent figures, followed by panels covering topics such as the GDPR enforcement, AI governance, global data security. Discussions will also dive into challenges posed by legal overlaps, especially between the GDPR, the AI Act, and the Data Act, and how businesses can adapt while fostering trust and transparency. Today's session will provide actionable insights to navigating these evolving regulations in a dynamic, data-driven world. To guide your way through the platform or app you are using today, just a few heads up. You can get an overview of today's entire program on the platform and save your favorite sessions. Here you will then also find all the information on the speakers of the current session. You can also find more about the products of our partners and contact the relevant people on the platform if you would like to. It's also possible to make appointments and have short meetings via the platform. Of course, you will also be able to post your questions today, and so feel free to type in your questions and we will do our best to answer all your questions. If you would like to build the discussion on social media, our hashtag this year is #PCO24. A big thank you once again to all our partners this year. Without their support, this conference wouldn't be happening and it wouldn't be, you all wouldn't be joining us for free. That's all from me for now, and I am very happy to now give the stage to Susanne Demel. Susanne Demel is Managing Director of Law and Security here at Bitkom and will be welcoming you for this year's conference. Susanne, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Isabel, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second day of this year's Bitkom Privacy Conference. Our conference this year once again brings together key stakeholders to discuss current issues in data protection. And to set the scene, as in previous years, we have once again asked German companies in a representative survey about their state of data protection and their views on it. And I'd like to present some of the findings from that study, which highlights the growing challenges businesses face when implementing data protection rules. Despite being 6 years old, apparently the GDPR continues to pose significant challenges. As we heard already yesterday, the vast majority of companies in Germany reports that the expenses required to comply with data protection provisions remain high, or that their workload has even increased over the past year. While 71% of companies have either fully or mostly implemented the GDPR, the ongoing effort required remains a major concern. More than 80% of businesses report that implementing new tools or technologies trigger additional data protection reviews, and 76 still experience legal uncertainty regarding GDPR compliance. And this uncertainty apparently comes from the inconsistent interpretation of the regulation across the EU, as cited by 56% of respondents. 64% of companies feel that data protection provisions are applied too strictly by German data protection authorities, and 53% see the GDPR as a competitive disadvantage for the EU compared to other regions. Another key challenge lies in finding the balance between robust data protection and fostering innovation. 63% of companies believe that the fear of violating GDPR has led German companies to overcompensate, stifling innovation in the process. At the same time, 70% acknowledge that GDPR has improved data security within their organizations, and 48% believe it has created more uniform competition within the EU. When we come to the overall dominating subject of AI, this seems to be a double-edged sword when it comes to data protection. On the one hand, 48% of companies are exploring ways to use AI to improve their data protection efforts through tools like chatbots to handle data privacy questions or automated data anonymization systems. And I think that's quite surprising, actually, which is not so surprising, maybe on the other hand, is that 68% see AI as posing new challenges to data protection, especially when it comes to training AI models on large data sets. A notable concern is that the strict data protection rules may limit AI innovation in Europe, with 57% fearing that the GDPR will restrict AI applications, and 52% suggesting that companies may even relocate them outside of the EU to avoid these constraints. Businesses are also calling for significant changes in how data protection is supervised. 69% of companies in Germany want reforms to the current oversight system, particularly regarding better coordination among national and European authorities. There's strong support, 67%, for centralizing data protection oversight in Germany to streamline decision-making, reduce bureaucracy, and create more consistency in enforcement. Finally, data breaches remain a concern for many companies, with 20% reporting that they had violations in the past year. And most of these breaches were reported to the authorities, and the consequences could be severe. 11% described the impacts as very serious, while 47% said the breach led to fines or penalties. I think that shows that violations of data protection law actually have consequences, and that companies are also aware of that. All in all, I think the findings of the study show that we might not have reached yet the ideal balance between protecting personal data, maintaining legal compliance, and fostering innovation in the digital economy at the same time. Companies are eager for reforms that will bring more clarity, reduce bureaucracy, and make the implementation of data protection laws more practical. But at the same time, when companies digitize their data and processes, when they introduce new technologies like AI in their products and processes, it is pretty clear that this will trigger new data protection questions and assessments on the go. It will require new risk mitigation, and it will require adaptation processes. And I think these efforts won't go completely away. This said, we cannot lean back and say there's nothing that can be done about this real burden for the economy. There's certainly something we can do about bureaucratic burden that is not necessary or helpful for effective data protection, or about uncertainty that comes from inadequate or inconsistent cooperation or decision processes in enforcement. And I think we will hear about that later. We also have to look closely on related fields of law like AI and data regulations, and we need to make the legal framework more consistent. And this is discussed today between practitioners on this conference and, of course, also beyond. I think the findings need to be communicated to the European Commission to help them with their efforts to create the single digital European market we all wish for. And that's I'm now very happy to introduce today's keynote speaker, Didier Reynders, the European Commissioner for Justice, who once again will lay the groundwork for our discussions. Welcome, Commissioner Reynders.